Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
Blue Dragon 5.
And better get your winter coats ready, folks, because we're in for a storm of fuck on the Dexter New Blood Recap Podcast. All right. That's right, Dragon. We're back once again. We were kind of late in the week for the first one, mostly because it kind of took us a couple days to even decide officially if we were going to do the recaps week by week. But we are here the night after the premiere of this second episode. Dragon, I'm going to throw it to you right off the bat. What do you think?
Yeah. So I was very impressed by the first episode. I'm still on the track. I think this one was very much we're building up our bad guy for the season, but more so, sometimes Dexter seasons are at their best when Dexter is on his heels. And this season very much seems to be kind of a perfect return to that situation. Again, the big thing I was glowing about in the first episode, which kind of is my take on the season as a whole, as unless something really changes as it unfolds, is this is very much Dexter's, Dark Knight Returns or Logan story. Again, Dexter is rusty, but still, much like we love him, clever as a fox. And oh boy, this is very much the storm is coming episode. Again, both setting up our villain, but also Dexter's greatest fear, fatherhood.
Yeah. Yeah, I was quite impressed with this episode. I thought that it did a really good job, especially like the opening 10 or 15 minutes or so. I thought was just like genuinely edge of your seat, like, oh my god, they're like yeah, I think the title of the episode is very accurate. It's just like, and honestly, I think the season's doing a really good job. I think that's probably the best strong point of the season so far, is the fact that they're really building up. There's so, it's like a noose tightening around Dexter. And it's like, what I like about this episode is it kind of gives us sort of like a false hope of like, oh, maybe he got away with it. No, of course he didn't.
Well, just when he does.
Yeah. And just like you said, it's like I love that Clancy Brown is literally in the helicopter the whole episode, and it's like we can see him, but we don't know what he looks like yet. You know what it's like we can see where he is, but we don't know of him yet. I don't know. It's a very good tease.
Well, I mean,
So
I don't
let's
think
just
he's.
what?
I don't think he's technically in the helicopter. I think. Well, he's monitoring. We don't know where he is, but all we know is he's
I
looking
could
through
have
the
sworn
other.
there was a moment where a helicopter flew by and they
Well,
were
no,
like,
there
"Oh, the
there is a
rich assholes in
helicopter.
that helicopter."
Yeah, we don't know if that's him in the helicopter though. We know that there are rich a hole. He came there in a helicopter, but I don't know if he's like the oil guy or not, because the oil guys who gave her the helicopter. So
Uh-huh.
but
All
the
right, we
point
have
being
that
though,
guy in the comments who says,
yeah,
maybe he got away with it. Wait, no, he killed a rich guy's son. What am I talking about?
yep, yeah.
Do you have any idea who my father is?
Yeah, he's the guy from Shawshank.
So let's talk Clancy Brown. First of all, it's as much as I love him, it's going to be a little bit hard to. I mean, with his voice, there's always going to be a little bit of Mr. Krabs, right? Just
But
a little bit
also,
of
I mean,
Mr.
Lex
Krabs.
Luthor. I mean, if you want to go the other iconic villain, though.
Yeah, but look, Mr. Krabs is the voice of Clancy Brown. All right, that's who we're going to associate with. All right.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's equal footing. I think it is. It's kind of equally Mr. Krabs and Lex Luthor. That's the two big feathers in the Clancy Brown cap, man.
All right, fair enough. But I do like that. I think your prediction pretty much came true. That his first appearance on the show, very folksy, very folksy.
Mm-hmm. Also, kind of menacing, because if I'm right, I mean, folks, I'm not 100% on this, but I'm a firm 85 that we build him up throughout the episode, if I'm reading it right, and that the transient woman in the the drifter girl from the last
Uh-huh.
episode at the bar. She's in the motel. She's basically locked in that motel and watched by a security camera. We see the eye of this person, an old hand. And I'm pretty sure that's Clancy Brown's eye and his hand, and that's why he's not in the episode until the very end. That's
Oh
why I don't
God.
think he's in a helicopter, Teague. I'm pretty sure he's the other guy on the other end of it with his own kind of serial killer trait, with the written above the motel, the security camera. You're already dead.
Can I just say that that element of the season is the one part where I'm not really stoked on it just yet, just because it kind of feels like a little bit of a retread of other plot lines.
Well, I would disagree, Tiki, because well, let me put it this way. I agree in that it's feeding into obviously the running thing with Dexter through every season, with the exception, well, I mean, kind of two, because Dexter was kind of the serial killer in question, but in general, there's always like the antagonist serial killer, the prey for Dexter, the match wits with during the season, and so you always have in there, and all these serial killers have different kind of tactics and different signatures. In this case, my read on, assuming again, I think it's a pretty safe bet, Kurt Caldwell is the guy on the other end of security camera.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure his whole shtick as a serial killer is based on what we saw in this episode is control and power. That whole methodology of the entitlement and
So here's my thing, though. I don't necessarily even. Maybe I was just excited to get a villain who wasn't a straight up serial killer, just because I feel like that makes Dexter's, that makes it too easy for Dexter's code, I guess. Is that like, because this guy is clearly like, he's got all the money, all the power, all the influence. He's clearly going to be gung ho about finding his son. Like, do we really need to? Do we really need him? Do we really need him to be like a genuinely evil person? Like, I feel like he's intimidating enough just being like, just being on Dexter's trail. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Tiki, look, to be fair, again, we don't know 100% it is him, but I think that's the cleverness of it. I think just to the people who have been through the Dexter saddle, like, yeah, this is most likely going to be our serial killer, just based on the pattern of how that goes. It's not a certainty, but just based on that alone. But what we do have, though, regardless, is we do have someone who is, again, who is really folksy, and again, much like Dexter, presents like kind of a false front. And I think the idea, and I could be wrong here, I think the idea is, the rival killer hiding in the small town only far better than Dexter is. In that, he is like he's fully acclimated to the town. He's like a whole history there, and the fact that again, money. I think what's going to differentiate this from what we've seen before is it's the class and power, and that this guy's whole methodology, assuming he is the killer, is I can get away with whatever I want and basically control people, much like I control this town by keeping.
I don't want him to be a straight up serial killer. I want him to be an evil person who doesn't. Am I making sense with that? I just feel like him being a serial killer is just a little too easy.
Well, I'm assuming serial killer because there's 3 missing women that we have not found yet. Now, again, they are missing, not confirmed dead.
I'm thinking more sex trafficking, Dragon.
I don't know. I mean, it's possible. We've never really done it before.
And I honestly think sex trafficking would be more in the MO of a rich elitist asshole like this than just simply like, I'm gonna murder people for fun.
Okay, let me put it to you this way: had we not gotten the "you're already dead" thing written at the top of the ceiling, I would maybe back your play a little bit more there. Outside of that, like, okay, you could just be keeping her in the room like a sex trafficker. I mean, it is possible, just being creepy.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just alone on just. I just think I just think him being a fellow serial killer is just gonna make it. It's just one less moral dilemma for Dexter to have to jump through. You know what I mean?
But then again, more of like something to bring him back into the fold of like, I'm not gonna kill again, and enter the temptation. These Caldwell boys are just like poison.
But I'm just saying, the temptation would have been there for him just based on him, like, just breathing down the case, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Challenge.
I'm just making the inference based on, hey, Clancy Brown's our bad guy this season per the pattern, but I don't know. We'll see. I think you might be asking for the moon on that one, but that's just me.
Well, that guy agrees with you, so yeah. That's fair. To me, the real highlight of this episode was actually Deb.
Yes, so
Deb is working out way better than I expected.
Now you know the reason.
I love the way that they're honestly kind of like playing with perceptions and reality, like having her, like freak out on him and then just kind of see like it's all within like literally like a fleeting instance that all this is going through his head.
You saw like the peace gag in the car to like the ladies looking at Dexter spaced out.
Right.
But yeah, you know why Deb worked so well in this episode, Tiki, for us?
Why?
The full mother from Bates Motel.
Yeah, a little bit.
Tell me, it occurred to me when, like, okay, we had this wonderful bit.
Deb laughing at Dexter watching rocks is great. Yeah, says that guy.
Like, you think Windexing rocks is going to help you?
Right.
It's just hysterical. So what we're doing here is she's the more aggressive form of guilt than the kind of the logical kind of support that Harry offered in the past. So much more kind of like if Harry was like the logical, okay, let me play devil's advocate with myself and assess the situation based on this man's code. Versus, hey, Deb, who was always skeptical of what I did and trying to wean me off of this thing, who would be very upset with what I'm doing right now, magnifying my guilt, is basically the more antagonistic devil's advocate saying, you idiot, this is never going to work. I mean, just utterly skeptical at Dexter's new hope with Harrison coming back of, hey, you could possibly redeem yourself by doing right by your son, but at the same time, hey, you're still lying to him. You got to make the decision. Are you going to tell him who you are or not? And of course, if you're not, she's just laughing at this ridiculous idealistic hope that is doomed to fail.
So this is something that from the finale that I never actually got cleared up on. So maybe you can clear it up for me.
Yeah, what do you got?
Dexter being the Bay Harbor butcher, that's still like not a known fact, right?
No, they never found out he was the Bay Harbor butcher.
Okay,
Never.
good.
Anyone who found out, like Dokes, died.
All right. Yeah. So let's move on to Harry. First of all, confirmation that Hannah's dead, which
frankly, this was big.
Good.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I was
sorry. That sounds like a real dick thing to say.
It really is, though.
I just don't care. She's from the last 4 seasons. She can fuck off.
Again, Yvonne Strahovski, good actress, but the point being, I was interested to see where we're going to land on the Hannah thing. Seeing like I imagine we were going to see her maybe at some lines, but no, we completely closed the book.
I just think her coming to town, like searching for Harry, that would have just been another plot thread that we really I don't know.
No, I think it's a good move that we just ruled. I like that we ruled on immediately. Okay, folks, Hannah's not coming back. But here's the thing for me, though, it's just kind of establishes like, showrunner. I mean, I wonder if it was out of story, like what you're saying with story conveyance of like.
I honestly think it's a little bit of both, because for me, it's a little bit of both of like it's story convenience and also fuck the last 4 seasons.
Yeah, that's what I wonder. I wonder how much it's like an aggressive, like, hey, I didn't create that character. I have nothing to say about that character.
Right, exactly.
I want her in my ending. This is how I'm going to end the show. Okay, I didn't want her in the first place. I'm going to write her out.
That guy says he agrees with me. He was about to throw a party when they revealed Hannah's dead.
But here's what I like, though. I like in killing off Hannah, we didn't just do it like cavalierly. We added there was actually like a big takeaway from it, where Dexter thought his son was going to like ride off into the sunset with this lady. And okay, he'll be in good hands. I trust her. She'll raise him. But to find out that she died 3 years ago, and the fact that his son has been in the foster system as a teenager, which is horrible, because no one adopts the teens.
Sure.
And just the fact, that this places so much, such a great idea for the story, that this puts guilt on Dexter for ruining his boy's life in the attempt to protect him, which just again makes like I've made a terrible choice as a parent, and he's off. He feels off. But also another kind of like little kind of connective tissue thing you were bringing up in the other episode, Teak, that we confirmed here. We covered the Oregon of it all. Like you said, I started in Oregon to find you, which is where he ended up as the lumberjack in the finale. He was in Oregon. And Dexter had moved on from there over the 10-year period to this place. And the bowling photo apparently gave him away.
Uh-huh.
I love that he always bowled in the show. I love that was his undoing. The little Instagram of the bowling league in Iron Lake. All right, let's see. So, but I mean, I love, seriously, just the way we open the episode with the conversation with Harrison. I love that, Dexter, stressing over, how much do I tell him? And I love that already necessitates the title for Dexter before we literalize it with like, okay, well now a little storm of like cops has come over to really complicate things.
Uh-huh.
So speaking of which, the blood trail. So folks, you didn't blink and you didn't miss it. The blood trail was a bad thing. And it's a lot of mounting tension in the epised. Dexter literally covering his tracks. I love that.
I am entirely convinced that we're not done with the blood trail. Like it was written off.
We're still there. I mean, we're still in the place. The cops are still there at the end of the episode.
Right.
So, I mean, again, at the end of the episode, I was ready to breathe a sigh of relief. Like, okay, and this is kind of a fun fourth wall thing, too, by the way, Tiki. And especially in the later seasons, they always had this thing of, okay, after the fourth season, it really got old fast. Like, yep, Dexter's going to get away with it scot free again. Where
Okay,
like,
and with that in mind, I did kind of feel some of that with the whole like, oh, he clearly shot the deer and then fled because he wanted to avoid prosecution. I was like, really, really, that's how we're gonna. All right, but then of
but I
course
like that
Mr.
we
Crab
struck a
jumped in
balance
and
with it.
fucked all that up. But
We struck a balance with it, though. We're okay. Some of that is obviously it's necessary for the Dexter plots, but by the same token, we didn't let him. We didn't let it be the cure all this time. I thought that was really good.
right.
And speaking of which, again, I love when he was taking like the ATV or whatever it was, like the Jeep thing.
It's just like running over the trail.
Love it. And like Harry's like, why are you driving like that? Oh, it's been a while. Anyway, so I love this. Again, Dexter playing smart, being really helpful to the police, the cavalry of police, just kind of they set up base camp and everything.
I love it. It's such a classic setup. It's like the serial killer where the police are like he's literally like the most helpful person to the case, and they're using his cabin as a base camp, and the
because he
body
can't say no if he
and the
says
body
no.
is literally under their feet.
Yes, which again, I love that you and I think all of us thought he used the lake, which if you think about it, the lake would have been a terrible hiding spot in the winter because it would have surfaced up or something.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, there's a slim chance it wouldn't have, but when the ice thaws, it's probably not going to help that process versus Miami, which is it's never doing that. So,
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
buried in the fire pit. So, he can't say no, and I love he's literally spinning 3 plates. So I think that the instant tension that's happening. Okay, so one, he's dealing with Harrison. Like, how much do I tell him? I said I was going to tell him everything in the morning, and then this all happened. 2, I gotta bury my tracks, and 3, and the thing I was like, oh no. Angela is just before he's gone over anything with Harrison.
He lucked the fuck out with the Angela thing. That's all. And this isn't like I don't necessarily think it's bad writing at all.
No, it's not. I honestly
really
think
it makes a lot of sense. And now I'm not missing something here, Dragon. Angela has another child where there's some sort of mysterious circumstance around it.
We don't know that yet. Iris could be either one of
Iris,
things.
like because it's like we don't necessarily know what went down with Iris. All we know is that it's like a dark part of her history, right?
Assumingly, we saw a photo. I don't believe this was I don't know if the photo we saw last episode was Angela and her daughter or not, because it looked like Angela and another woman. My assumption is either other daughter, like birth daughter, sister. I mean, some people are theorizing Audrey's birth mother.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like perhaps again, the spoke that we added to the wheel this episode with the Angela thing, which I really liked, is that hey, she adopted her daughter as well, much like how
I just think it makes a lot of sense. It's like, hey, now you and I can talk about parent stuff. I don't know. I love it. Because at first you think it's just like a game breaker. It's like, oh shit, he has a son that you didn't even tell her about. Oh,
and at first the episode was going
good.
And at first the episode was kind of going that direction, where it was going to be like, oh boy.
But I love how it subverted that. I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. That she would be kind of stoked about, being. Opening up about parenting now. It honestly feels like the type of thing that would sort of, give a little bit of a boost to the relationship.
Now, mind you, a couple things to take into account here with this revelation. So again, having adopted the daughter, yet another little Freudian parallel to Harry, one could say, with how Harry adopted Dexter from the crime scene. Also, again, we're building up Iris again, perhaps like similar situation. More so, there is one detail that got fudged, and this is I think intentionally fudged, and to add some tension. So you'll notice when Harrison. By the way, fun fact. So real quick, this ties into it all. Did you know in the marketing for the show leading up to this point, they actually put in like a false spoiler. Which is really cool. Kind of added to the episode.
No, experience. I didn't. But the funny thing is, there was actually a false spoiler going around in the Survivor community that everyone is pretty sure was planted by production. So that's pretty funny that this is also the case.
So the false spoiler was that Harrison was going to get a fake name. That he was just going to pass it off. He was going to lie about who Harrison was. I mean, maybe they're going to save this for like someone else, but I'm just figuring since we just told Angela essentially the truth, because originally his name they put down his name as Randall. Like it was going to be called like Randall when he introduced him to people. So I guess it was more like a fake lead. So this could be a surprise, perhaps. Anyway, so here's the thing to keep track of. When Harrison basically covered for him again, like father, like son, the very competent, very smooth kind of fibby boy. When he said his mother, he said Hannah recently died, and then he sought out his father. Now, when he was hanging out with Audrey and the gang, he said 3 years, and they also know about the kind of a little hanging chat about the birth mother who died, and we did not give the circumstances of that death. So the 3 years thing could land him in trouble. Like, wait a minute, why was your son away from you for 3 years?
Right.
What
right.
happened there?
Yeah.
Also, the biggest thing we got to bear in mind here, I think the most interesting revelation with Harrison and everything here is that we kind of confirmed in this episode, at least up to this point, Harrison not traumatized by the Trinity killing of his mother.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and I'm sure that again that might come back. I think we're going to get into that, especially when he learns perhaps, hey, my father was a serial killer and he mixed it up with another serial killer one time, which had a very deadly result that could have ended the series.
Do you think Dexter likes Angela or not? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dexter likes Angela.
You gotta remember, Rita and Deb really did open Dexter up kind of like into kind of human relationships, kind of like sociable. Like he did grow, and obviously his son too, Harrison. Like he did grow emotionally a little bit over the show by the end of it too. So I mean, Dexter, I think he feels. I mean, Angela's part Angela is a cover, to be fair. But by the other side, I think it was more like she initiated and he didn't say no, and he's kind of grown to like her over the time. Kind of like Rita, like the woman has made the first move and he's just kind of going along with it. But I think after Rita, he does feel a little bit more. And he did legitimately fall in love with Hannah. So, I mean, he is open to a relationship now. So,
Uh-huh.
I think it's possible. Yeah, I think it's possible. Again, as we said, with a lot of Freudian parallels, I think he is attracted to Angela psychologically and subconsciously on some level at least. Yeah. So the symbolism with the deer continues.
Yeah.
Harrison finding the deer. It's a bloody mess. Again, Harrison not traumatized by the Trinity killing and just the abandonment of his father, and Dexter's his pure hopes with the deer and his son. Basically, I just love the intersect.
I think the deer is probably going to end up being just the big primary like symbol of the whole season.
I mean, I wonder if it's going to get stuffed or anything. Wouldn't that be creepy though? If like the deer got stuffed,
creepy.
and then Dexter walks into a room. Imagine if Dexter walks into a room and there's the deer. Maybe it comes to life for a second. I don't know.
Oh my god!
I mean, we've seen Deb like shoved the bullet in Dexter's mouth and tried to suffocate him.
Oh, okay, that right there was like, oh god, I love the twisted side of Deb like that. Yeah,
a little kind of a suicide parallel. Like, hey, eat the bullet, eat the bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, again, the deer autopsy. Again, Dexter kind of getting back to the crime scene, kind of saddle that he was very used to in Miami. With again, just kind of it's a really gross out scene, by the way. Ooh, they did an autopsy on that deer, icky. Boy, let's see. Okay, I think. Okay, what do you think about Harrison and Audrey?
Teen romance is like that. That's the one part of any. I literally don't think I've ever seen a teen romance in a TV show where I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I can't wait for these scenes.
But it was interesting to see.
It's literally the reason why I just couldn't get into Superman and Lois or whatever that show was.
Well, it was Superman and Lois, Tiki. That's
okay. Just making sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I think the big takeaway was even just in the beginnings here, which I think they've smartened up with time away from just seeing how people respond to the back half. I think we're going to keep the relationships really tight, and like we're not going to go too much in the teen romance land.
Oh god, that back half, man. I mean, I haven't even watched most of it, but like from what I've heard, like doesn't Angel get like a niece or some shit like that, and she has a romantic subplot?
Okay, to be fair, Amy Garcia is a wonderful lady. So just like let's. Well, that's the actress's name too. Amy Garcia is a really love. She's wonderful in Lucifer, and that was kind of where she got a lot of her bones.
All right, fair enough. I still don't think like. I mean, Angel Batista is like the worst Dexter character, and we didn't need to give him like another
Oh, come on. Batista was not the worst Dexter.
Yes, he
character.
was.
Oh,
He
come
was
on.
maybe.
What about
I don't know.
Masuka? You mean you tell me Masuka was better than Angel Batista?
I feel like Batista got better and Masuka started in a better place, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I think you're out of your mind. I don't know.
All right.
Anyway, so my point being, back to my Audrey point. The big takeaway is that we see
That
that
guy agrees
Harrison.
with me on Batista.
No, he agrees with me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he said he's not the worst. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, so Ella Lopez, that's her name on Lucifer. I forget what Amy's name was in Dexter, but yeah, she was like Batista's niece who fell for the. Do you remember the Quinn character?
Yes.
So that's
the
who.
Quinn character is like one of the few characters from the back half that I actually liked.
So yeah, so he had a
Although he showed up in
relationship.
season 4, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know it was definitely. I think it was 3 he was introduced, but he was
Yeah. So he's been around. Yeah, I remember Quinn. I like.
Then things went south for him in season 5, and then. But again, I think he did find his way back though towards the end. Again, Quinn. I hated Quinn at first, but then he grew on me.
I didn't like him at first either, but he grew on me. Yeah.
Especially because he was like literally like the roadblock. Like all the great Trinity stuff's happening, then Quinn just won't shut up and stay in the corner. Quinn, get in the corner, man. He's going after Trinity. Anyway, my point is, Harrison, we see he's much more social than it comes to him rather easily than it did with Dexter. Dexter was like, "Oh, my kid's going to be a little bit of a shut-in like I am," but no, not at all.
Not quite sure how I feel about that, just because I feel like they're leaving I don't know. I just think if Harrison is just like completely like totally well adjusted and he's like just a totally fine normal kid, like honestly, that's boring writing, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's a ticking time bomb thing, in that I think it's going to come rushing back to him, and then we're going to.
I'm hoping so.
Because you got to remember, right now.
Because I got to say, at this point, he's so socially well adapted that he's almost cocky about it, and I don't like that.
I think Tiki. Here's what I think. I think under the surface, as we saw, there was one very key. It's a blink and you miss it moment, but it really popped to me when. He had a really great moment of calm that would only come from the son of Dexter, and I loved it, where the kids were going through his backpack and everything, trying to look for the journal and stuff, and he made the noise so they knew he was coming, but he was observing the situation. So I think we're going to get to is that he right now, because I think he was a baby when it happened. He had blocked the trauma of his mother's murder.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So I'm saying once things come to light, perhaps that wall might come down, and then things will come seeping, and then he might be more aware of his behaviors that are just like he's not thinking they could be in a negative light, because the emotional element of the episode that we do talk about, the letter was great. So the letter is this whole if Harrison ever has any dark tendencies, let me know. And of course, Harrison for years is thinking, what was wrong with me? When in reality, it was Dexter's, fears of himself being in his kid. And so just that, so the heart to heart over the guilt that he felt over Harrison, just really,
I guess,
really
my big problem with Harrison is I really don't like it with shows where it's like, and honestly, fucking Bates Motel of all shows even did this, where it's like, oh, the new kid in town, and he goes up to the first group of kids he meets, and they instantly they're like, oh, okay, you are a cool person, and you are in our friend group now, no questions asked.
Okay, well, two things.
And I know that the two, like, fucking whatever, the two most useless characters in the show that are Audrey's two friends, who are just like seriously, can we just talk about how useless they are? They remind me of
Tiki. It's only episode 2.
Stoner friends from Kidding.
Okay, well, that's a good pull. No, I'm gonna give.
I'm just saying.
Okay, well, first of all, Tiki, what you think? They were just introduced. Okay,
they have no purpose. No purpose.
I mean,
I will be shocked if they contribute anything to the actual story.
Tiki, I gotta be honest. I don't want them to have a purpose. I just want them they did their thing, and I don't want it to become a thing where, oh, now maybe they're gonna have some feelings that, hey, the guy's moving in on my girl or something.
That's exactly what I'm afraid of.
But again, right now, if they are nothing characters, it won't be a problem. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So we should hope they're nothing characters. Okay. That shouldn't be a bad thing. See, here's what I'm hoping. Here's my read on where my expectation is. At least my hope is, I guess, is that all right. Well, Harrison was kind of pushed in by Angela and everything. Hey, go help the kids with their search, and so he was kind of pushed in like that friend group anyway. Like, hey,
okay, so maybe this is just me like like projecting because I still find it very difficult to talk to the opposite sex. But I don't know. It just when like the weird new kid in town just walks up to the first girl he sees, and that girl just instantly seems to like I don't want to say she's like in love with him or anything, but she's drawn to him for sure. And I'm like, son of a bitch, it's not that easy, dude. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I'm literally just projecting here because
yeah.
girls
Stop
fucking hate
projecting
me.
on the boy. All right, he hasn't done anything wrong. I mean, I don't know.
If I walk up to a girl and try and start a fucking conversation, it's like, first of all, I just don't know how to do it because I'm like, hey, Disney, but
well, the point being, I think the appeal, at least my read on it, was that, he's the drifter through town. He's not local to the small town. It's like, hey, this guy's kind of exciting.
that guy says, watch the two friends be the main serial killers of the show. Oh my god!
But you see what I'm saying? There's like an intrigue of like, hey, this guy's kind of a drifter through town, and he's not really, he's not really sucking up to anybody. He's never like, trying to put the moves on. He's just like, oh, hey, how's it going? He's just, he's being really, I don't know. I think some of Dexter's smoothness did kind of rub off on the kid. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he can actually manifest it versus faking it. All right. Anyway, okay. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so we covered the letter. Again, it's the last image of the episode, I guess. So again, Kurt shows up. He gives a very very desperate and empathetic kind of like plea to the town, like, "Come on, help my boy, help me find."
It's like the first appearance is literally just him like pulling at the heartstrings, and I love it.
Yes, and so he kind of rallies the town very genuine. Again, this is why you get Clancy Brown, folks. Again, so no one ever gives Clancy Brown enough credit to what he can do because like, oh, we need a big tough guy, we need a scary guy, guys. Mr. Krabs, Lex Luthor, all these roles, and again, so many layers in between that this man can play.
Mm-hmm.
And again, assuming he is the guy on the other end of those cameras, sex trafficking or no, intimidating as all get out. Am I right?
I mean, honestly, Dragon, what I like about it is like I don't necessarily think there's an intimidation factor on surface level yet, but you can tell it's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like on surface level, it's just very much like a desperate, concerned father, like making a plea. But you also know, it's like I said, I really do think the foreshadowing to him in the first episode was really great because it's like, this guy has all the resources. If this guy doesn't get what he wants, he is going to rain hellfire down. So it's like, you start him in a good place of like, him being the sympathetic father, but I don't know.
Sense
obviously things are going to go dark with him really quick.
You could sense the power behind like the pleas. Like he was getting, you get a sense he could have gone off a little on Angela in that scene. There was something there. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, there's definitely something there to reckon with.
Yeah.
So by the way, I think I want to shout the best line of the episode. Thank you, Fred Jr., you magnificent outdoorsman. I just love it because again, things were going so well for Dexter for a bit there, where he faked like, hey, he killed the deer and then he ran off. He just didn't want the hunting fees, or like because he killed, I believe, on native land or protected land. So and also against the fact that we saw
one of my big holes with that is that I truly think that guy would be too dumb to even realize that was a crime.
No, you're right. And again, that's why Dexter's in trouble at the end of the episode. Because as Kurt says, I mean, mind you, he's not even thinking about what you're saying. It's still Kurt saying, like, he doesn't care about a fine. He's a rich kid. He would have come to me.
Buy that too. I can totally buy that. Yeah.
Like, he would have come to me if he was in trouble. So these are three things that are like big holes in Dexter's bowling ball here, this is not going to go well for Dexter, unfortunately. And also, I love this. So people have pointed this out that, hey, at the bottom of the fire pit, we have the money shot of like there's the gun and there's the body in pieces, but in the clear plastic you can see the head is intact. So I mean, they can make an ID pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is not just a body we're finding here. This is Matt Caldwell. Look at the terror. He's mid yell with his kill face right now, like my father. Anyway.
Oh dear God! I don't know why my phone's suddenly blowing up. I'm sorry.
We must be trending, folks. Anywho,
no, it's literally just my phone does this thing where it like backlogs a whole bunch of messages that I've got all throughout the day, and then suddenly just like, oh, messages. By the way, you have like 1 million messages that you've already read, but I'm going to give you alerts for them. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Says the man who didn't mute his notifications.
No, I muted them on Facebook on my laptop, but I didn't on my phone because I wasn't expecting it to do that.
Yeah, because you never get phone calls or anything during a podcast.
I never
Anyway,
get phone calls, period, Dragon.
yes, you do. You get them all the time. What are you talking about?
Right, anyways.
Anyway. All right, so I'm trying to see if there's anything in the comments we're missing. I think we covered the
That
game.
guy says you can sense that if Kurt wanted to, he could just point at a guy and ruin his life. PewDiePie shouted you out in the video.
Yep. There's a storm for you.
If only. Hey guys, I'm PewDiePie, and I just found the most under the radar pop culture analysis channel that y'all need to check out.
Yeah, I keep talking about Vera Farmiga for some reason.
Oh god.
And who's this Howard Hamlin guy?
Oh my god.
What's with all the tea jokes?
Oh jeez. We haven't made a tea joke in all of 2021.
Well, to be fair, we haven't had Better Call Saul for the better part of 2020. All right. Okay, that brings us to the end. I guess we'll shout out our commenter and
so big thanks to that guy for joining us. I'm glad that because I wasn't sure that any one of our subscribers was going to tune into these, so I'm glad that you are at least along for the ride. We'll try to do these every Monday unless some sort of scheduling thing comes up, because I like to get them out as quickly after the episode as we can.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, it should be possible on my end. Without other storms of F-bombs kind of dropping, we should be fine.
Right. And on that note, have a good night, everyone. See you later.